Imagine a towering figure emerging from a thick cloud of suffocating, sulfurous black smoke, his face completely obscured by a massive, ink-black beard woven with slow-burning hemp fuses that spit sparks and wild green flames around his eyes like a literal demon ascending from the depths of hell. This terrifying apparition was Edward Teach, better known to history as Blackbeard, the most infamous maritime predator to terrorize the Atlantic during the twilight of the Golden Age of piracy. To his terrified contemporaries, he was not merely a criminal master but a supernatural force of nature, a cold-blooded killer who supposedly drank rum mixed with gunpowder and consorted with the devil himself. Yet, behind this facade lay one of the most brilliant psychological strategists of the 18th century. Blackbeard thoroughly understood that the sheer weaponization of terror was infinitely more valuable than physical violence, constructing a legendary persona so utterly overwhelming that entire merchant vessels and heavily armed ports would surrender to his will without a single drop of blood being spilled. Very little verified documentation survives regarding his early life, though historians agree he was likely born around 1680 in the maritime port of Bristol, England. Gifted with a rare degree of literacy that suggests an educated upbringing, he originally went to sea as a legitimate privateer during Queen Anne's War, plundering French and Spanish commerce under the British Crown. When the Treaty of Utrecht abruptly ended the war in 1713, thousands of highly skilled privateers suddenly found themselves unemployed, cast adrift into an unforgiving colonial economy with no legal means of survival. Drawn to the lawless pirate haven of Nassau in the Bahamas, Teach quickly distinguished himself within the crew of the veteran pirate captain Benjamin Hornigold. Recognizing Teach's immense physical stature and sharp intellect, Hornigold handed him command of a captured sloop. In late 1717, Teach achieved a massive milestone by capturing a colossal French slave ship named La Concorde off the coast of St. Vincent. He aggressively refitted the vessel, renaming her the Queen Anne's Revenge, and packed her decks with 40 heavy cannons, transforming a slow merchant vessel into one of the most lethal warships cruising the Caribbean and the American eastern seaboard. Teach perfected a unique methodology of psychological warfare designed to maximize primal dread. Before charging into battle, he would strap a massive leather bandolier across his chest containing up to 6 primed pistols, throw a crimson cloak over his shoulders, and tuck hemp cords dipped in saltpeter under his captain's hat, lighting them so they would slowly burn for hours, cloaking his head in an eerie, ghostly mist. This theatrical display was so profoundly effective that it completely paralyzed the defenses of his victims, allowing him to capture dozens of ships with minimal resistance. Historical analysis reveals Blackbeard rarely tortured or murdered captives who surrendered peacefully. His ultimate demonstration of supreme confidence occurred in May 1718, when he sailed his formidable flotilla directly into the harbor of Charlestown, South Carolina, establishing a complete naval blockade. He systematically seized every single vessel attempting to enter or leave the port, effectively holding an entire American colony hostage. Surprisingly, he did not demand gold or silver bullion as ransom. Instead, he demanded a substantial chest of specialized medicines to treat his crew, who were suffering from a devastating outbreak of tropical diseases, proving his calculating pragmatism as a leader. After the blockade, Blackbeard executed an exit strategy to secure his wealth and outmaneuver the British Admiralty. He intentionally ran the Queen Anne's Revenge aground on a sandbar near Beaufort Inlet, North Carolina, effectively dismantling his massive, unmanageable fleet while keeping the choice plunder for a small circle of trusted loyalists. Teach then marched directly into the town of Bath, where he struck a highly lucrative, thoroughly corrupt alliance with the royal governor of North Carolina, Charles Eden. Exploiting the king's act of grace, Governor Eden granted Teach a full royal pardon, legally wiping away his extensive criminal history and transforming the notorious pirate into a recognized citizen. Teach even purchased a fine plantation, married a local teenager, and attempted to settle into the comfortable life of a colonial planter. However, the call of the sea and the easy profits of illicit commerce proved completely irresistible, and Teach quickly established an elaborate smuggling ring under the governor's protection, utilizing a secluded anchorage at Ocracoke Inlet to covertly bring stolen goods into the colony, much to the fury of neighboring honest merchants. This corruption alarmed Virginia Governor Alexander Spotswood, who realized Blackbeard threatened regional economic stability. Operating completely outside his legal jurisdiction, Spotswood secretly financed a specialized military expedition, placing Royal Navy Commander Robert Maynard in charge of 2 heavily armed, shallow-draft civilian sloops. On the morning of November 22, 1718, Maynard trapped Blackbeard's vastly outnumbered crew in the shallow waters of Ocracoke Inlet. What followed was one of the most savage and desperate naval engagements in maritime history. Blackbeard launched a devastating cannon broadside that instantly decimated Maynard's forces, forcing the lieutenant to order his surviving men below deck to create the clever illusion of total defeat. Believing he had won an effortless victory, Blackbeard confidently boarded the naval vessel, only to be met by a furious ambush as Maynard's hidden soldiers surged up from the hold. The 2 commanders engaged in a brutal, face-to-face duel with pistols and cutlasses. Teach fought with the supernatural ferocity of a cornered beast, ignoring injuries that would have instantly killed an ordinary man. It ultimately required 5 separate bullet wounds and over 20 cutlass gashes before the legendary pirate finally collapsed onto the bloody deck, dead at last. Lieutenant Maynard severed Blackbeard's head and hung it from the bowsprit as a warning to other outlaws. As the ship sailed back to Virginia, the sudden death of the Pirate King birthed a wave of folklore that would endure for centuries. Sailors whispered that Teach's headless corpse was thrown into the Atlantic, where it stubbornly swam around the ship 3 times before finally sinking into the dark abyss. For generations, treasure hunters have searched the shifting sands of the Outer Banks for his legendary lost vault of gold, though historical records indicate his wealth consisted mostly of sugar, tobacco, and cocoa. Ultimately, Blackbeard's true legacy is not a chest of buried silver, but his enduring status as the ultimate archetype of maritime rebellion, a master showman who successfully turned his own identity into an immortal weapon of fear. Thank you for taking this thrilling voyage into the dark, smoky history of Blackbeard with us today on the History Channel. If discovering the calculated genius behind his demonic persona and intense final battle captivated you, please click the like button to support our content. Do you believe Blackbeard was a bloodthirsty monster or a brilliant master of psychological theater? Share your thoughts and favorite pirate legends in the comments section below. Make sure to subscribe to our channel right now and click that notification bell so you never miss our deep, dramatic journeys into the forgotten secrets and fascinating figures of world history. Until our next historical adventure, keep exploring the past, question the myths, and stay vigilant.